It's a funny thing, but I always feel protected when I'm in the bush. I always feel nurtured and looked after. There are a lot of things, there's snakes, there's ticks, there's bushfires. There are a lot of things that are quite frightening about the Australian bush. And that's definitely a reality. But I always feel nurtured when I come here, when I'm in the bush or I'm on the beach. Cedar's ahead of me. I'm always keeping an eye out on her, and she's always keeping an eye out on me. She just turned around to check on me. I love being in nature so much. It's really necessary for my own art practice because I've realised recently, well, I guess I've always known this, but I've been clearly thinking about the connection between nature and art and how does nature inform my art practice. And I started with, I love the subject matter. I love drawing and painting beaches and rocks and mountains and trees and plants and birds. But it's more than that. It's so much more than that. It goes much deeper, and it's a deeply spiritual connection for me. Both being in nature and being an artist is my spiritual path that I am choosing to walk, or maybe it chose me. I maybe think it chose me. When I was younger, I really loved the American Indian philosophy of the 4 different directions and the circles of, the different directions and how everything was connected and how just blessing all beings and more than that. And when my dad died recently, I was very close to my dad. I am always going to be very close to my dad because I still, I don't know, I still talk to him a lot actually. But when the first week or so after he died, the most amazing things happened. I saw lots of things. I saw comets in the sky. I always used to say to Dad, can you send me messages when you pass on, when you cross over, or, because we would have lots of deep spiritual conversations. And he did. He sent me a lot of messages. Clocks stopped, then started. It was just strange, and big comets and shooting stars. But the thing that was really quite profound, almost goosebumps on my skin, was I could feel him in nature. I could feel him. I could sense him. I could feel him. I don't know, I was connected to him through the plants and the earth and the ground and the sky and the wind and the sun. I could really strongly feel him. And so, how is nature connected to my art practice? It's everything about my art practice. It's everything I want my art practice to be, and it's the reason I make art. It's the same reason I love walking through the bush. It's for knowing that there is more here. There's more here. I feel more. I sense more. It's a spiritual connection. It's something to do with that. I'm not even sure if I can put it in words. When I paint sometimes, when I'm really painting, like I'm focused, not tripping over rocks. Oh, Cedar's so beautiful. She slows down. She is such a good carer. I love her so much. When I'm painting and I'm really focused and I'm in the moment, I take deep breaths like that. It just feels beautiful. A little bit like what it's feeling on my skin now. It's a late afternoon, winter's day, but it's early spring, I would say. And the sun is just gorgeous, afternoon light. I feel that I sort of slip through time. Like I feel like there's it's there's answers there. I find that it's like you get to meet your higher self, I suppose, when you're painting and you're in that flow state. And it's like that connection with nature as well. There's a really deep spiritual kind of connection. It takes a little while to kind of get there though sometimes. Last week I felt very ungrounded. I was comparing myself to other artists and to seeing how other people do certain things, and I felt sad because I thought I couldn't, where can I fit in? How can I do this? Because everyone else is doing it and there's lots of people doing it and they're better than me, they're more social than me, they're more happier than I don't know, they're more of a social person and I'm more of I love my time of solitude and quiet, and I want to hear the leaves. Can you hear the leaves and the wind? I can also hear a plane in the background, but let's just listen to the leaves, not the plane. Yeah, that's a good reminder for myself too. Yeah, so I felt incredibly ungrounded and I needed to come and be in nature. And I really wanted, this way sits, to just lift my top, lie down on the ground and put my belly on the earth. I needed to ground myself that much. I just kept walking and kept walking and kept walking through the trees. No one else is here, just Cedar and I, up hills and down hills, and looking at all the different species of wattle that's blooming out, you know what I mean. Trying not to step on wombat poo. Keep moving, Seeds. Following my dog, or sometimes I'll lead her. I quite like it when she leads me. She's doing a really good job today. I always think I should put her in the lead, but I think today she kind of understands that I'm talking to you. Stay close, honey. And eventually I kind of remembered stuff. I remembered how my belly feels when I'm walking. How it feels like it's like the lower part of my belly, that your core, where your umbilical cord is, like that center part of you, that really vulnerable. It's almost like that's where you're psychic. I don't know if this is I don't know what this is, but I can't think of other words. That psychic umbilical cord. It's like the earth reaches up and gives you a big hug there and just says, it's like, hey, I've got you. I'll stabilize you. It's okay, you're here. Yeah, that's what it feels like. It's embracing. That's just like no other feeling. The closest is painting. Very different but similar. So how are nature and art connected? Are they connected through energy? Are they connected through ideas? Are they connected through feelings? Are they the same? How are they different? They're both necessary. So painting nature just reminds you of those things a little bit. And if you don't have this beautiful bush track, lots of tracks, I've got lots of tracks, and I've got beautiful wilderness spaces around me. It's quite fairly isolated where we live. I'm not really, but it is compared to cities. Yeah, I wonder if you could get the same feeling in a big city through a park. I don't know, maybe. If you can connect to the earth. I don't know if I could. I need to be here. And so how does nature inform my art practice? It connects me with my spiritual self. That's what I want to do with my art. I want to be able to find that space when I'm painting. Even if I'm doing fast paintings, timed drawings, I want to connect to that space. I want to connect to that spiritual space, that sense of magic and possibility and healing. It's very healing. So in the flow state when I'm painting or making something, being creative, that's where I find those answers to all of the questions that I didn't even know that I had. Similar to walking through the bush, just walk and let the thoughts kind of come and go. I suppose that's meditation, isn't it? Just letting those thoughts come and go and noticing them, and then you sort of come to these realizations. I love painting and I love nature. I love making things. It's not just painting. And painting can be challenging. It's making things. I love making things. But painting is my favourite thing. How are nature and art, how is your creative practice, and wherever you are in the world, how does nature and your art practice connect, collide, combine, meet, join, support each other? What do you think? Are they one and the same? Are they like best friends? I think they're both one and the same and best friends. Just some food for thought today. Yeah, maybe go outside and go for a really long walk and feel your belly connected to the ground, to the earth. Get strong legs. Well, it's not even really about that, although it does feel that you get strong legs. Just ground yourself. So last week, as I was saying, I felt very ungrounded and, a bit confused and lost, and oh, it's okay, good girl. A bike on another path. Oh, she stopped. She's so good. She's so good. I got a little distracted then. But I know that if I hadn't have come walking through these bush tracks a lot last week, I desperately needed to just be outside and be away from my computer and be away from my studio and be away from the noise and come and be here in this place of breathing and quiet. It took a little while to make me understand that I have got something that is unique. And why not just be myself? Why not just be myself? And that way, the people who feel like that or understand it will understand. And the people who don't, that's okay. There's other people for them. Like, I think there is room for everyone. There is room for everyone. I think the trick is listen to nature. Listen to what comes up in your art practice. When you're by yourself, when you're making art by yourself and you've got quiet time, listen to what comes up. Listen to how you feel. Really notice how you feel, my friend. Often I don't understand my feelings. I feel stuff and it can be quite murky. I am a Pisces through and through. And I get confused sometimes with what other people feel, and I can feel it and I think, are they my feelings or are they that other person's feelings? Oh my gosh, when I was a teenager that was hard. Even in my 20s it was hard. Too sensitive here. but it's got magic too. And you've got to really learn to listen to yourself. Oh, it's so beautiful. Little new shoots of this eucalyptus tree. The leaves are like maroon and yellow, and then they're tiny, and then there's this beautiful green gum leaves. Thanks, Seeds. Thanks for waiting for me. What is it that you feel? And who are you? And how you can, if you just be yourself with whatever it is that you're doing, you know, if you're not hurting other people, of course, but then the people who understand this, I'm not even sure I'm making any sense. My words are probably all over the place. It's probably just talking to myself here, trying to figure it out. Sorry if it's confusing. But I think, yeah, that's what I've found this week by being in nature a lot, is I'm different to how all these other people I'm looking at. I'm different to them, and I'm trying to be like them, and a little tiny part of that makes me sad, excited and happy too, because it's fun, and it's fun. But when I really listen to myself, it's like, that's not me. Like, that's not what I have to offer. I have something else to offer, and I want to develop that more. And I'm going to keep walking these tracks and keep painting in the quiet, because I love it. I love it. And I will share what I learn with you, because maybe you might love it too.